Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, at the start of another Jersey Quest franchise mode. So let's quickly kind of introduce team, player, jersey, and all that good stuff. So as you can see here, we're in NHL 24 with the Buffalo Sabres. So it should be a fun one. I do have some of the soft Buffalo Sabres because they're kind of most unfortunate team in the NHL. They're like tremendously long playoff drought and everything. But yes, they're the team. In terms of the player, if we go here to edit lines, if you know that the theme we've been running with the past couple of Jersey Quest franchise modes, you probably know where this is going. But the Jersey Quest player is Kyle Okposo, who's Buffalo Sabres captain for a couple of seasons after Jack Eichel left, and was obviously a first-round pick of the Islanders back in the day, and played a number of years for the Islanders before moving to the Sabres in free agency. And he obviously retired after winning the Cup with Florida at the end of this 23-24 season, with a total of 1,051 games played in his NHL career. So obviously, I had to go and pick one of the older rosters, like the most recent roster before he had gotten traded to Florida, which is like honestly the roster's only a couple days before, so it's pretty solid stuff there. But yes, he's the Jersey Quest player. This is 1,051 games played. He played his 1,000th game at home on November 14th, 2023, against the Boston Bruins in a loss. So it was at home, so it potentially could have been the goat head or their kind of lighter blue home jersey. It's the lighter blue home jersey. Could have been cool if it was the goat head, because that's like one of my favorite jerseys. It's so cool. But they're kind of not navy blue. I don't know what color blue they call it, but they're lighter blue. Kind of home jersey is pretty sick as well. It's gonna be hard if this is a success because it has like a special patch on it because it was his 1,000th game, and obviously the RJ Memorial patch on it. So York Jenneret, who's obviously the legendary announcer for the Buffalo Sabres TV broadcast for a number of years. But yeah, so Kyle Okposo, he's a cool kind of guy and everything. So it's pretty sweet he ended up winning the Cup with Florida, so that might be one we end up going to down the line. But for now, we're doing his 1,000th game with the Buffalo Sabres home jersey. So obviously, in terms of kind of wrap up here, because we kind of hit player, team, and jersey and stuff, is kind of expectations. So obviously, as I kind of allude to, I have somewhat of a soft spot for the Buffalo Sabres. They have the current longest playoff drought in North American sports, tied with the unfortunate New York Jets. But American football don't really care about it, so just looking at hockey, they're like the longest kind of drought. And obviously that means this 23-24 season, they did not make the playoffs. They finished with I think one or two games above 500 and missed the playoffs. And that's why they ended up trading Okposo to Florida and a couple other players to other teams. But yes, they're probably going to miss the playoffs, and then I guess it'll depend. Will Okposo retire immediately after the season, or will he kind of stick around for another one, which will kind of determine if this is a one and done or not. But hopefully, either we can make a miracle run, make the playoffs, or he'll consider sticking around for another season. But yeah, hopefully, as I said, hopefully it's a kind of more of a success. But again, probably unlikely. But I'll stop talking for now. In a couple of seconds, it'll be the 23-24 season recap. There we will find out if we can, in fact, break the Buffalo Sabres playoff drought. Okay, so we are in the re-sign period after the 23-24 season, which I guess kind of clues you into how the season potentially went. But as you can see here, I'm trying to re-sign Kyle Okposo and a bunch of other players to contracts. Kyle Okposo actually came up first, so we're probably to go through a bunch of other people's contract offers afterwards. But as you can see here, I offered him precisely what he wanted. It was like 2-year deal, like a 1.5 or 1.8 something per season for 2 seasons. Like precisely exactly what he wanted. So you think he would just, be like, all right, coolio, I'll hop back on the Buffalo Sabre train for another season. But as you can see here, it says, although I'm interested in principle to an extension, I'm going to reject a contract offer because he's not content with the amount of minutes he played this past season. And while I would potentially, be up to, increasing his minutes and therefore his dollar value to kind of coincide with that, the right wing is kind of our best area potentially in terms of like just 1 through 4 line depth, because we have Alex Tuch, 88 overall, who would be the first line right winger, JJ Peterka, who would be second line at 84, and then Jack Quinn, who would be the third line, 82, and they're all like obviously younger than Okposo, and like most of them still developing and growing as players. So not really like an opportunity for Okposo to get any more minutes because he's just going to be stuck on the fourth line pretty much. Even if you moved him over to the left side, so he can play both wings, would basically be the same position. He would be the fourth line guy pretty much. So this means that this Jersey Quest franchise mode is going to be a failure because Okposo does not want to re-sign at kind of market value terms because he's, as it says, unsatisfied with his minutes. So kind of go through the rest of these contract offers and then go through the rest of the season after that here quickly. So let's see. And then Zimgus Girgensons I was going to basically re-upping him to be our 13th forward. Did not want to re-sign either at. I think I just gave him what he wanted. He wanted under a mil. UPL, because I always start like 0.85. I think was like back in the day was like kind of the magic number to get people to re-sign. So I always kind of start at that, then work my way up. But yeah, so UPL didn't want to sign at 0.85. Yokiharu did though, as did Krebs. Middlestat didn't want it because of that. Brett Murray chat was fine. You were fine. You were cool. You guys are cool. They're all kids, but yeah, so kind of getting into it. As you can see, Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup. We'll kind of get into everything as we go. So yeah, so regular season we finished with a 41, 33, and 8 record, which was a couple wins better than they finished with that year. And it's also good enough for the first wild card. Basically, we were tied with the Washington Capitals for the wild card, but over the tiebreaker, we had the tiebreaker. We were wild card one in the East with 90 points. For a solid season in terms of stats, Tage Thompson was our leading scorer with 93 points, 41 goals, 52 assists, which was good for third in the regular season with his 93. And then Jeff Skinner was 5th with his 91. Kyle Okposo obviously not in here because he doesn't want to sign a new contract. But he had 14 goals, 14 assists for 28 points. So pretty solid season on a fourth line role, I would say. Then obviously, as you kind of saw there, that as we were wild cards, we made the playoffs. We'll get into the playoff tree in a second. But in terms of goals for per game, it was 3.09. Goals against was 2.82. So obviously a positive ratio, but not probably good enough to really push us into the top 3 in the Atlantic. So looking at the playoff tree, let's see, we made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but kind of how did we get there? So we started off round 1 against the New York Rangers, who were first in the Metropolitan Division with 105 points, and took all the way to 7 games to win the series. Rangers won game 1, 2-1. We won game 2, 5-2. Rangers then jumped out to a 3-1 series lead with 5-1 and 5-2 wins. Then we won the next 3, 3-2, 5-4, and 3-2. I'm pretty sure at least one of those was in overtime as well to win the series and come back and win the series in 7. Round 2, we got the Carolina Hurricanes. They won game 1, 3-2. I think it might have been in overtime. And then we won the next 4 in a row, 4-3, 3-1, 4-0, and 2-1 to advance to the conference finals against the Florida Panthers, where we proceeded to get swept. They were all pretty tight games. They were all one-goal games. We lost games 1 and 2 by scores of 5-4, and then games 3 and 4 by a score of 4-3. So very tight series, even though it was a sweep. It could have probably pretty easily gone either way. I don't remember if any of them were overtime, but I'd be surprised if one of them were. And then let's see, Florida got swept by Dallas in turn. So Dallas won the Stanley Cup. In terms of playoff scoring, leading scorer was Rasmus Dahlin with 14 points, 2 goals, 12 assists. So good from him, but probably not great. Though I think this is our second line potentially with Peterka, Cousins, and Quinn. We're also really solid, but our top line of Thompson, Tuck, and Skinner were not too good. So that's probably why we couldn't overcome the Florida Panthers. In terms of Okposo stats, he had 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points. So pretty solid playoffs from him. Like a little over half his regular season total in the playoffs, which is pretty awesome. But in terms of kind of awards, here to wrap it up. So as I said, Dallas Stars won the Cup. President's Trophy was the Toronto Maple Leafs with 111 points. And the Stars beat the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final. In terms of individual stuff, so Alex Ovechkin was the leading scorer with 104 points, so you kind of got a bunch of the awards, like the Art Ross and the Hart. Norris went to Cale Makar. Not really a surprise there. Lady Byng went to Braden Point, who finished ninth in scoring with 89 points. Calder went to Connor Bedard. Not really a surprise there either. Conn Smythe went to Joe Pavelski. Vezina went to Jake Ottinger. Jennings went to Cam Talbot and Ilya Samsonov of the Maple Leafs. Not really surprised with their President's Trophy winning team. Masterton went to Ryan Pulock. Jack Adams went to Capitals coach. Selke went to Kopitar. Again, not really a surprise there. Lindsay went to Ovi. And then Rocco Richard went to Ovi as well because he had like 50-something goals and then like 40 or so assists to get to his 104 points. So, yeah. I was kind of hoping, as he Okposo didn't retire, that we might have a shot this next season, kind of making the playoffs and kind of maybe going on, even like making it to the Cup final. But Okposo does not want to re-sign because of minutes, and he's not going to get minutes. So we're kind of basically at an impasse in contract negotiations there. So he would, as he would probably go to free agency and sign for, I don't know, who knows, for trying to get more minutes and then probably not actually get them. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so kind of disappointing again. Another one of these Here's Quest franchise modes ends in failure, but kind of is what it is. So in terms of what's next to the channel, it'll be a Kit Quest career mode. What it'll be, not sure, but I'm guessing it'll probably be another. So I kind of said in the last one, we're going to kind of stick to FIFA 21 to present. So one of those games, Kit Quest career mode, was fun from the Europa League winning squad potentially, but most likely. But yeah, it's kind of sucked. What was kind of fun, the Sabres actually making the playoffs with them, going on a pretty deep run, but didn't end in ultimate glory. So doesn't necessarily count for much in the end, but yes, hopefully you did enjoy this video though, and hopefully you'll check out whatever is next on the channel as well. Thank you.